Verses 14 to 17. After the laws which concern subjects fitly followed the laws which concern kings, for those that rule others must themselves remember that they are under command. Here are laws given to the electors of the empire, what rules they must go by in making their choice. v. 14, 15. 1. It is here supposed that the people would, in process of time, be desirous of a king, whose royal pomp and power would be thought to make their nation look great among their neighbors. Their having a king is neither promised as a mercy nor commanded as a duty. Nothing could be better for them than the divine regimen they were under, but it is permitted them if they desired it. If they would but take care to have the ends of government answered, and God's laws duly observed and put in execution, they should not be tied to any one form of government, but should be welcome to have a king. Though something irregular is supposed to be the principle of the desire, that they might be like the nations, whereas God in many ways distinguished them from the nations, yet God would indulge them in it, because he intended to serve his own purposes by it, in making the regal government typical of the kingdom of the Messiah. They are directed in their choice. If they will have a king over them, as God foresaw they would, though it does not appear that ever the motion was made till almost 400 years after, then they must ask counsel at God's mouth, and make him king whom God shall choose, and happy it was for them that they had an oracle to consult in so weighty an affair, and a God to choose for them who knows infallibly what every man is and will be. Kings are God's vicegerents, and therefore it is fit that he should have the choosing of them. God had himself been in a particular manner Israel's king, and if they set another over them, under him, it was necessary that he should nominate the person. Accordingly, when the people desired a king, they applied to Samuel a prophet of the Lord, and afterwards David, Solomon, Jeroboam, Jehu, and others, were chosen by the prophets, and the people are reproved for not observing this law. Hosea 8:4, they have set up kings but not by me. In all cases God's choice, if we can but know it, should direct, determine, and overrule ours. They must not choose a foreigner under pretense of strengthening their alliances, or of the extraordinary fitness of the person, lest a strange king should introduce strange customs of usages, contrary to those that were established by the divine law, but he must be one from among thy brethren, that he may be a type of Christ, who is bone of our bone. Hebrew 2:14. Laws are here given to the prince that should be elected for the due administration of the government. He must carefully avoid everything that would divert him from God and religion. Riches, honors, and pleasures are the three great hindrances of godliness: the lusts of the flesh, the lusts of the eye, and the pride of life, especially to those in high stations. Against these therefore the king is here warned. He must not gratify the love of honor by multiplying horses. v. 16. He that rode upon a horse, a stately creature, in a country where asses and mules were generally used, looked very great, and therefore though he might have horses for his own saddle, and chariots, yet he must not set servants on horseback. Eccle 10:7, nor have many horses for his officers and guards. When God was their king, his judges rode on asses. Judge 5:10, 12:14, nor must he multiply horses for war, lest he should trust too much to them. PS 20:7, 33:17, Hos 14:3. The reason here given against his multiplying horses is because it would produce a greater correspondence with Egypt, which furnished Canaan with horses. 1 Key 10:28, 29, than it was fit the Israel of God should have, who were brought thence with such a high hand. You shall return no more that way, for fear of being infected with the idolatries of Egypt. Leviticus 18:3, to which they were very prone. Note, we should take heed of that commerce or conversation by which we are in danger of being drawn into sin. If Israel must not return to Egypt, they must not trade with Egypt. Solomon got no good by it. He must not gratify the love of pleasure by multiplying wives. v. 17, as Solomon did to his undoing. 1 Key 11:1, that his heart, being set upon them, turn not away from business, and everything that is serious, and especially from the exercise of piety and devotion, to which nothing is a greater enemy than the indulgence of the flesh. He must not gratify the love of riches by greatly multiplying silver and gold. A competent treasure is allowed him, and he is not forbidden to be good husband of it, but he must not greatly multiply money, so as to oppress his people by raising it, as Solomon seems to have done, 1 Key 12:4, nor so as to deceive himself, by trusting to it, and setting his heart upon it, PS 62:10. He must not multiply it to himself. David multiplied silver and gold, but it was for the service of God, 1 Chr 29:4, not for himself, for his people, not for his own family. He must carefully apply himself to the law of God, and make that his rule. This must be to him better than all riches, honors, and pleasures, than many horses or many wives, better than thousands of gold and silver.